happens when I close it. I put a 6 in it. Well, a 6 sent it a little high. I tested
what's a 6?
A 6 ounce bomb.
6 ounce bomb?
Yeah. Well, that was my first time at it. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Give
6
me a break.
ounce?
I knew.
6 ounce bomb.
Yeah, it's a 6
What?
ounce tightly wrapped black powder bomb, and it went bow wow. Whap! And it just went up in the air about 80 feet. Almost, I thought it was going to come down and kill me because I was standing under it. You know, the hood went up and went right by my face and everything. I was a little.
And they wanted it to go to 3 or 6 feet?
So is that called like a trial and error? I mean,
That was what it was.
a trial and
That's
error.
when I first did it, and then I used a 4. Finally,
Hey,
and then
I'm very familiar with trial and error. I mean, the
Yeah.
error part I'm very familiar with.
Well, there was no error in it. Fortunately, it didn't float down and hit the cameras or kill one of the cameramen there that's right there. That's when they're using those 8 millimeters and 4 millimeters. And those cameras are whining on the shot to see it go up and see Don Knotts at the same time over there.
What did he do?
And he just acting silly and something,
Yeah.
and making some funny look. And I sent this hood up in the air, and it went up so high that the camera guy, he ducked
Oh, yeah.
and run. He just left the thing on sticks. It was on his stilts. He just left it there. And it came right down and hit the spot right where it's supposed to.
Really?
It did.
Yes, and that's when I knew that, hey,
is gonna
just
be your life.
overkill for these movers. You don't need it all. Everything's small. I just didn't like the little stuff. I wanted bigger. I wanted more bigger, because
got
I
it.
could sell my work better to them with it bigger. And that's what the directors wanted anyhow. And back in those days, they wanted it bigger and better. And they still do.
Yeah. of
They
course.
still
Well,
want
now,
it bigger
absolutely.
and better, but
Violence rules.
yeah, violence rules, and that's.
Um,
So the fun of it is it went up and it came down and hit right on the spot. I was very fortunate on that. And it landed right on top of the car. And he's laughing, making his jury.
So tell me, does the union pay your life insurance premium?
Yeah, I have one of
They
those.
do? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Oh, I just asking.
Yeah, I've always had it.
hazard pay.
Yeah, I've been insured by the union, and I have to be covered on.
So the insurance company has been making money all this time because
For years.
You have never had to.
No, I've never put a claim in.
You haven't died yet.
No,
No.
I
Are you
haven't
still
hurt
working?
myself at all, and I still do it. And yeah, I did a meteor in Los Angeles from, the 8th story, and it just came down on this wire just real fine. And it spun around with the little rocket motors that we put in
Really?
that make smoke, little rocket engines, 3 of them in this big rock. And it came down from 8 stories to the ground in the middle
How
of the
cool
street.
is that?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
at night
that's
we
really
did
good
that.
stuff.
And
Well, we were driving downtown.
I showed you where
Was that the same thing?
Yeah, that's the same
Oh,
thing.
okay, yeah.
I showed you the window up on the 8th floor of that other building, and it was wired
Right.
down to the street.
Wow.
And we had it so that the ball could just, the ball was made for us, and we just ordered it that way. And they put the rocket engines in it, and we tested it.
Rocket engines.
Yeah,
He
and
did the Hindenburg.
The Hindenburger. Wow.
yeah, I did all the high work on the Hindenburg. I did the low work too on the scene where I never forgot that Hindenburg. We were down at the Marine Air Force Base at Camp
Pendleton?
down below. And,
Camp Pendleton?
yeah,
Pendleton.
yeah, that's
Just
where I
north
was.
of San Diego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I took my sister down there
To see
watch it. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that was one of her first trips with me. And I was in the back loading the gas for the dirigible that comes down and gets on fire. And the captain comes out of the dirigible, and he staggers out, and he's on fire, smoke and little fire on his back. And he didn't get very much on him, though. I always thought that was a cheap shot for Robert Wise to shoot it that way, but that's the way he wanted it. So he was up there in a panoramic where he usually is, sitting, operating the camera for this shot.
He did his own camera work?
Yeah,
Really?
on this one.
That's certainly interesting.
Yeah. He wanted this one special. So he took over on the camera. Mr. Robert Wise.
That's fascinating.
Good job.
I worked with all the masters. I can really say that truthfully. I've worked for the masters of making films.
Yeah.
All of them, Peckinpah.
Peckinpah. Why is that name so familiar?
Well, he
Peckinpah
did
was
his,
huge.
he was noted for his blood and guts.
Yeah.
But was he a director?
Producer, yeah.
Producer?
Producer, yeah.
Mhm.
Peckinpah.
Samuel.
Samuel Peckinpah, yeah.
Mhm.
Samuel Peckinpah. He was in the era of,
I don't know anything about the show business, but I heard that name.
yeah,
Yeah. He was on a lot of credits.
yeah, a lot of credits. He did, you know, with Betty Grable and that when she'd change her look and her facials expressions in that movie. Look who's coming home from
Who's coming to dinner?
dinner, yeah, and that stuff like that. And,
Hmm.
oh yes, yeah, that's what I did in my career years and years ago.